Okay, I'm here with Tyson Hirscher. This video, I just want to give a shout out to Mike at Hard to Hurt. If you don't follow him, you should. He's got really good advice. He'll probably make fun of, if he looks at my videos, probably make fun of my skill and stuff like that. But man, the guy sounds the same. He gives the same advice that I give to my fighters. So when I heard him saying it and showing it with a lot more skill than I could show it, I subscribe to him and I follow his channel. I haven't really disagreed with much of its content, and I think he has very solid ideas about bridging sport fighting to self-defense training. So his advice works for both ring sport and for self-defense. So I think it's a great channel and everyone should subscribe to it. So I'm here with Tyson Hirscher. Tyson, can you tell us a little bit about your background?
I started off doing Taekwondo many years ago now, like 8 or 9, and then started training with Joel since 2011, and just didn't really plan on competing and started competing and winning, and I won the 2014 WKC World Championships, 2013 bronze medalist, and then 2017 and 2018 Muay Thai Canada national champion.
Okay, so the thing I want to talk about today is these little holy grail self-defense things like the eye gouge, the throat punch, and the kick to the groin being the three main ones. Good and bad, good and bad. A lot of people, if you gouge them in the eye, they will flinch and stuff like that and whatever. But the one thing that I see big glaring discrepancy with it is that when people have stuff that are thrown at their face tends to move, right? And you're looking at a really small target and you're trying to put your fingers into that target. You're more likely to maybe hit bone than the eye, or miss altogether. And even if you get the eye, a really aggressive person, that's not gonna stop them. Someone who's a hard-ass fighter, it's probably, I know we see it in the UFC, but that's not rage, and that's also people fighting with a rule that says no eye gouges, so they know that they can take time and collapse and not lose the fight. If you're dealing with somebody who's enraged, it may or may not work. My friend Randy King told us a story here where he was bouncing and he did the eye gouge, and he has a good video on this as well. And he buried his thumb in the guy's eye, and the guy just kept pushing himself onto his thumb to get closer to strangle him because he was so enraged. Just last week I saw one of my kids, Leighton Davis, 12 years old, 13 years old. Tough little guy, man, good fighter. He got kicked square in the nuts. He was sparring, got kicked in the nuts, didn't have a cup on, which his mistake. But he laughed. He went like this, and I said, "Do you need a second?" "No, let's go." And he was smiling and laughing, and I'm like, "Did he like?" And he got it square because afterwards he was hurting, but he didn't want to stop fighting, right? He wanted to keep fighting. Tough kid though. Some people it'll stop, right? The throat. I mean, if I'm going to punch Tyson in the throat, if he's an idiot, he'll give it to me. But most people will put their hands in the way. Most people, with even a little bit of training, keep their chins down. So the throat, against somebody who knows even a little bit of martial arts, is not a viable target. So the best thing to do is have these strategies. They can work, but also train like a sport fighter. Spar, hit pads, get prepared. The big thing is spar. Don't just work on the bags and stuff. Work with resistance. And if you don't spar, honestly, some people say you don't need to spar to learn how to fight. I don't think you have any timing. I don't think you know distance. I don't think you know how to get past resistance if you don't spar. I'll be straight up with that. I don't really believe people who don't spar know how to fight. I hope I hope someone doesn't feel they have to prove me wrong, because I'm old. But that's my belief, and I'm not gonna sway from that belief. You have to spar, really, if you want to know how to fight. So these things can work, but don't depend on them. Make having a solid foundation in fighting your foundation for self-defense. You want to add anything to that?
No, I think you did a pretty good job, Joel, for sure.
He's not a talker, he's a fighter.